And so when we approach a conversation from a place of, I need to get this person to agree with me, or we need to agree in order to have harmony in the relationship, we're setting ourselves up for failure in that relationship. Versus if we approach a conversation from a place of, okay, I already know that I'm not going to agree with you. And that for me to try to get you to agree with me is fruitless. But what I can do is calm my nervous system. Remember that your agreement with me doesn't actually contribute to my sense of safety, my sense of self, my okayness, right? And that it is actually okay for us to have difference and still belong with one another. And then from that place, approaching the conversation from a, you know what, I don't have to agree with you, but at least I can try to understand. At least I can ask you questions about how you got to that conclusion or why that's important to you. And what oftentimes ends up happening when we approach conversations from that place of understanding is that, well, a few things. One being we find out we want the same thing. It's just that we have different ideas about how to get there, right? Or we find out about something about that person that really humanizes them and allows us to be like, wow, yeah, if that was my life experience, I'd probably feel the same way too. So it allows for just mutual understanding in that way, where it's like, I don't have to agree, but at least I can understand you.
And I think I want to preface that with, this is some deep soul level work that happens even before you have that conversation with that person who disagrees with you. And something I want to make really explicit in this is, to me, everything goes back to the nervous system. And your sympathetic nervous system is wired to protect you. And this is where the like us versus them thing actually feels safer in a sympathetically wired nervous system. Is if I can clearly define who my in-group is and who my out-group is, then I know who I can go to and find agreement. And agreement is oftentimes misunderstood or, I'm going to say misunderstood. It's often misunderstood as understanding. And when we are more in our parasympathetic, then that is the part of our nervous system that's wired for connection. And connection sees nuance. Connection has curiosity about the other person's story. Connection has a soul level sense of understanding and belonging, even if opinions and beliefs are different. And to me, that's the level of relationship that I am personally seeking in my life. Is now that I have, 2020 was just a complete reckoning for everybody, right? And it's in my life too, it's shaken some things up. And when I would try to do the thing, because I'm human too, of like, these are my facts, and this is why I'm making the choices that I'm making, and this is why I believe the things that I believe, I found that there was more of a fracturing there, just simply on the basis that both of our nervous systems are unsympathetic, and that we are biologically incapable of connecting at that space. And so when I set my sights on safety, things changed, because it meant that I had to take accountability and responsibility to step away from the argument when my sympathetic nervous system would get turned on, not because I needed to run away from what was happening in front of me, but because I needed to step away and regulate my own nervous system before I could come back to that conversation. When I set my sights on safety, it made me think about, okay, so why does this person feel unsafe? And can I understand where that feeling of threat is coming from? And as you said, that really humanized the people in my life that I had been having struggles and challenges with. And so I think that this concept of I understand you versus I agree with you is such an important one to set our sights on when we are in these potentially triggering, potentially fracturing conversations with the people that we love.